right there, right there. I see a cloud. You see these things in your mind and you put them on canvas. There we go. Maybe there's another little one. Just sort of hides right in here. There we are. Okay, now, we'll go back to the large brush. And this is where we find out if you're brave. Very gently. Just blend it all together. And you can keep blending it till it gets darker and darker and darker, and it'll finally go away if you blend it enough. So you have to make an almighty decision here. When it gets to the point you like it, stop. Don't piddle it to death. The areas closest to the moon should be the brightest, and as they get farther away from the moon, let them get darker and darker and darker. If you want something darker, once again, just blend it more. There we are. Isn't that a super, super simple, nice way to make a little sky? Okay, let me wash the brush. We wash the brush with odorless paint thinner. And when you're doing this at home, rig up a box or something to contain it. Otherwise, you're going to redecorate your house in a second. Alrighty, now, let's take the palette knife, and we'll take a little bit of titanium white, very, very small amount of paint. And we'll figure out here where the water line's going to be. And just very gently begin touching the canvas. Now, you want this to be pretty straight. You don't want your water to run off one side of the canvas. You have to hang a bucket over there to catch it. So try to keep it pretty straight as it comes across there. There we go. Now maybe right under the moon here, we're going to have some light reflecting in the water. So we can just take and do this. I'm pushing very, very hard just to push the color right into the canvas. Just let this come all the way down. There. And we can drop a few more little things back in here. All I'm doing is touching the canvas. Just touch it. And start in the lightest area and work out, and automatically it'll get darker as it goes out from the light source. You don't have to worry about it or think about it. You make all these big decisions. They're done for you. Let the paint work. Let the canvas work for you. You see now how it's picking up the Prussian blue and the little phthalo green? Very pretty. All we're doing is just touching. You know, we get so many cards and letters from people who are watching the shows. And one of the big things that we're hearing is people want seascapes like they have in Florida. We have a lot of super friends in Florida, so this little seascape is for them. And Florida is one of our favorite places. My mother lives in Florida. I was originally born and raised in Florida and moved to Alaska. But my mother, and I have a brother who still lives there. There we go. Now, once again, we'll take the large brush, and all we're going to do is just very gently blend this in. And we're using pretty firm pressure here. We can really push. This paint's dry. We can push it and move it around without destroying everything. There we go. And already we have the light shining through the water. Then we can begin working on details in the water. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of magic white to my fan brush just to make the paint a little bit thinner, tiny bit thinner. Load quite a bit of paint into the brush, and we can begin working on some individual waves and stuff here. And we just barely touch the canvas. We don't want big waves back here in the distance. They get bigger as they come forward. Just barely touch it and give it a little pull, just like that. There you go. And a super simple little way to make some nice little waves. I knew you could do it. Very simple. Little things happening in the water here and there. Just let the fan brush play. Just let it play and have fun. Wherever you think there ought to be a wave, that's where it should be. There we Now as we come forward, we want to start letting these waves get a little bit bigger. Maybe right up in here. We'll put some beach in here, so let's put a big wave right in here. Just let it go there. There we are. Okay, now once again, right under our light source, we want this to be bright, so start here. Like that. There we go. See, automatically it gets darker as you get farther away from it. Over in here, it's getting very dark. And maybe this wave comes up here. Maybe it's getting ready to start breaking. We'll put a little more curl in it right here. You can just use your brush to make the strokes that give you any effect that you want. Maybe it's just beginning to curl over. Boom. All you have to do is just take your brush and bend it so it bends upward. And then grab the top and reverse the angle. Pull it over. So that wave's coming up this way and turns. There we go. And here we can just add a few little highlights on the water, just where the light's playing through here. Don't want them to get too bright. Now we can take a good dry, clean brush here and very gently just blend this right out. Just blend it so it just fades right into the background. Very gently. 3 hairs and some air. We can begin pulling this down and working on some shapes. There, little things happening in the water, some little foamies. Okay, we almost have our big large wave finished here. If you want to increase the highlight, just touch, pull down. Okay, now maybe we have a little beach up here. I'm going to spend some time working on this beach. Now we can take the fan brush and just put us some basic shapes in here. We're not too worried about anything now. We're just putting some color on the canvas. And with a clean, dry brush, I want to grab this and pull it down. I want reflections. I want this to look like sand, wet sand. Just pull it down. And then we'll go gently across it. It'll give the illusion of water, of very wet sand or something there. And we can go back, and once again, we'll put in the little foam things that are happening right along in here. And just sort of let them blend backwards. There we go. Now, just sort of pull this back. This is the most fantastic little thing you've ever seen. It's a super easy way to do a nice, very effective seascape. There, we just add a little bit of white and put us some little things in here. There we go. And just let your imagination take you where you want to be. As I say, I was born and raised in Florida, and then later on in life I moved to Fairbanks, Alaska. What a contrast. But Alaska is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. You have so many fantastic things to look at. Now I want this side here just to fade into nothing, very lightly. That's there. Brighten that a little bit. I want that to be a little brighter it's right under the moon. There we go. Touch, pull down to create our little wave actions. Okay, now, with a large brush, once again, I'm just going to very gently grab it. Just blend everything out so it's nice and quiet.
Very close.
And you can do this blending all the way across the painting and make it as quiet as you want it. Okay, let's wash the old brush. Now, if you want to make these little areas right along in here stand out a little bit more, we'll take the number 2 script liner brush. I'll put a little bit of thinner on it, and I'm going to go right into a little bit of brown. Just make it very, very thin, like water. And turn that brush, twist it, so it comes to a nice sharp point. And just underneath the edges here, add a little bit of brown.